All right, what is up? Welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is Tank Kramer. I'm with Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we're going to talk and review the new Twisters movie. The remake of the original is not, so many people are calling it a sequel. It's not a sequel.
It's not
It
a
is
remake
a remake.
either.
It's a
It's
remake.
not. No, because Dorothy.
Dorothy,
So
right?
they had Dorothy, so that means that the first Twisters happened. The first Twister happened because they have
Oh.
Dorothy, and
it's
because remember
just a
the
new
whole
Dorothy.
idea was that, but Dorothy had to get up into the thing and can read the Twister, but they haven't done anything since then.
Nah.
So that's why. So having Dorothy means that they had to have the first Twister, and they had the exact same parts with the aluminum that made it hot, made it fly.
Yeah. Nah. I don't think so.
It's
not.
It is.
It's a bunch of college students doing a like a science project. You know.
Yeah, but Dorothy is just something that you can make with soda cans. Remember, that's how they did it with soda cans. So it's any aluminum, so you can make the parts. And she was obviously a genius.
Well, yeah, she was a genius. But aren't the characters the same name? No, different names.
It's totally different. It's just totally a continuation of the story of Twisters.
I don't think it was. Okay. I don't think it was. It's not a sequel. It is a remake. There's
a remake.
It's a remake. They don't mention anything about the first movie.
It's not the same story.
No, it's different.
It could be a remake. It could be like a different movie, but it can't be a remake.
Oh, it's a remake. How's that not a remake? All right, we're getting way off track. It's not a sequel. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Twisters, the 2024 one with Glen Powell. Who else is in this one? Glen Powell,
Daisy Edgar-Jones.
Daisy Edgar-Jones. How do you pronounce her? Kiernan Shipka? How do you pronounce her name?
Kiernan Shipka.
Is that how you pronounce her name? Damn. Yeah, Anthony Ramos. David Cornsway was in this one as well. We're gonna get into our ratings, our likes, our dislikes. We're gonna talk about a little bit about the money and Rotten Tomatoes at the end. But before we jump into our review of it, Brian, you got a quick breakdown of what this one is about?
That's what I'm laughing at. Serving as a standalone sequel to Twister.
I'll get out of here, man. That doesn't even
I was like laughing.
Haunted by a devastating encounter.
I'm looking at it's right here. It's on. Look at the Wikipedia right here. Twister's film right here. It says literally what I'm just saying. Serving as a standalone sequel to Twister. Haunted by a devastating encounter with a tornado, Kate Cooper gets lured back into the open plains by her friend Javi to test a groundbreaking new tracking system. She soon crosses paths with Tyler Owens, a charming but reckless social media star who thrives on posting his storm-chasing adventures. As the storm season intensifies, Kate and Tyler and their competing teams find themselves in a fight for their lives as multiple systems converge over central Oklahoma.
We'll start off with Brandman. What you like about this one, man?
I had like zero to no interest in it when I first heard about it. I was like, why? Granted, the original Twisters, it's not like high art, but it was. I was just kind of asking myself, oh, why are they making a sequel to it? Mm-hmm. But I liked it from a standpoint of spectacle. It's like really, like as cliche as it sounds, it really is an exhilarating and exciting watch. Which is really interesting because it's a movie about storm chasing, which usually isn't something that like really interests me too much. But I think in terms of like scope and spectacle and just execution of a very simple plot is what really made this movie work. And I liked the characters also. I liked Daisy Edgar-Jones as Kate. I liked Tyler. I thought he was probably like my favorite character in the movie. I liked Javi. Glen Powell is just on a roll this year. He's just like absolutely crushing it this year, dude. I think from the visuals, like I never really had any points during the movie where I'm like, oh, this looks too fake or oh, this looks too superimposed. Like the CG for the tornadoes was really, really good. So like I was and I think it's one of those movies that like really gets you involved because it throws you right in, I thought. And it really like hooks your interest. Like I was sitting like in my seat like this the entire time, which is a good sign. But yeah, I'd say those were my favorite things
Yeah. Okay. All right, Brian.
I love that you start off caring about the characters by, making you understand the relationship and then taking all of them away. And her boyfriend didn't have to go. He's the only one I was like, bro, you've been holding up, sitting there the whole time, and you got to get pulled out. That was messed up. But I thought it was a good opening, but it made you care about the characters immediately, and then a connection with each one. And Javi, I knew Javi was going to do something nefarious because he had to get his money somehow. You don't just get money, So I knew that something like that was going to happen. I liked Glen Powell's character, Tyler. That was really cool. Overall, and I love the science behind it. So,
yeah,
overall, I'm a nerd, right? So I'm the type of nerd that actually went to meteorology, like camp. So and understanding wind and understanding cloud formations and all that stuff. So seeing those things was really cool, and even understanding. So like the problem in the first Twister was they didn't understand anything about tornadoes, right? So they built Dorothy to try to understand more about tornadoes, but all Dorothy really did was give you an idea of how wind and the F and EF and all that stuff gives you that idea. But it never really told you how it forms, why it forms, what conditions cause it to form. And they got into the actual, details of how it actually comes together and understanding the tracking. So I thought the science part was really, really cool too. But to get the science, you still need to get this action. So they kind of merged those two things to a very good concept. And I really enjoyed the experience I had with it and watching the movie.
Yeah, man. Like right off the bat, the CGI was awesome. Like the from the very first, it's not a spoiler that there's a lot of tornadoes and twisters in this movie, so you get a lot of stuff being torn apart. And right off the bat with the first twister and people getting sucked out into it was crazy and wild. So I thought the CGI was pretty good, a lot better than I expected. And the story was fun, but what I think what made it for me was the actual characters. And I didn't expect like big like character development kind of stuff. And he really didn't get it. I mean, but Glen Powell, like he's this character with all these layers in it, you know what I mean? So I like that. Kate had a bunch of different layers on it, but at the end of the day, they just like love, I don't say disasters,
tornadoes.
Tornadoes, really.
The idea of tornadoes.
Yeah, just like and they're both like country kids. So like when he told his story about when he first had a tornado, and he's like, I was supposed to be scared, and he was like had a grin on his face or some shit, so yeah. So I thought that was kind of like really awesome.
Your mama bear, hilarious.
Were you blown away by Twister? Absolutely. Yeah, so it was that, and Glen Powell, man, like him being this like douchey kind of YouTuber, that actually has knowledge. So you're like, oh yeah, you're kind of, which is really funny too, because like he's hamming it up for the camera, but he understands what's going on. He's like, these things are super dangerous and this and that and stuff. So I just thought like everything from beginning to end was just a lot of fun. I like Brand Man. I was sitting on the edge of my seat almost the whole time because it was just so fun. It was a lot of fun. Even they had so they had Dorothy, and then as they were going through, Javi's team, was because they kind of flipped it on this one than they did the first one, because the original Twisters, they had like the main characters were part of the cheapy mom and pop kind of group, and then you had the big corporate group coming in. Here you were part of the corporate group at first, and then you kind of went to the more mom and pop, the YouTubers kind of thing. So that was a nice little change of pace, because you're like, oh, am I rooting for the big corporation. And then I thought it was so funny. It was like you had a Scarecrow, Tin Man, the Lion, like you had and then obviously Dorothy. So you had like the whole Wizard of Oz kind of reference, which I thought was kind of cute. But all right, on to the negatives. Brandman, what didn't you like about it?
I didn't like that there was no Bill Paxton around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss Bill Paxton being in movies and saying, "Son of a bitch." No, no, I thought the movie was fun. I think the whole thing with Dorothy at the beginning, like I was kind of half and half on that, because on one hand it was a really good callback to the original, and to see how like the legacy of the original characters were kind of carrying on. At the same time as like it kind of felt like they did that out of obligation.
To make it feel like it's like, we're sequel by this,
yeah, just it felt like connective tissue just for the sake of it. I think some of the characters also kind of felt like stock, like David Cornsweet's character was like a total kind of like stock type character, or like the zany partner to Glen Powell's character. Didn't necessarily mind him. We've just kind of seen those characters dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times. To an extent, it felt like you kind of just boot them from the movie. It wouldn't have made too much of a difference. I think that was like my most glaring issue with it. I know anything else would come across like super nitpicky, but those were like my main ones.
I do have a problem. So I kind of talked about that in the first one. Well, so the whole point of Twister was they're trying to create an advanced weather alert system, right? To make sure that people know about twisters beforehand. So what this movie told me basically was that they failed. The whole first movie was a failure because no one knew about the twisters coming at any point in time. They always were shocked. Like, they're coming. Like, we're in the middle of a rodeo. We had no idea this could have been a thing. So all Twister 1 was just a failure.
I didn't think about that.
If you were trying to warn people ahead of time and you weren't able to warn people ahead of time, even with all the stuff we went through, all the people that died for that movie, you lost. You failed terribly. Even when Dorothy got up in the air and you had a little cameo from it, it didn't matter. So that'll be my complaint. All right, here on Spoiler Kings, we rate our movies a little bit differently. We rate them now, as in you need to drop everything you're doing. You're gonna and watch it right now. You got later. You can wait till it comes to streaming, or never. We're never gonna watch it. You should throw out your TV if it ever comes near your TV. For Twisters, how do you rate it?
This is definitely a now, especially it hit. In addition to everything that I mentioned about it just a minute ago, I think it came out at a very good time. This is, like midsummer. This is the best time to go see it. Like I said, go check it out in the theater if you really want to get the full experience for it. And if you can, I'd say check it out on IMAX. I did. The IMAX experience was awesome. Just a really entertaining and attention grabbing movie. Like I said, this one was not even on my radar at first, only for it to come out and I was like, holy crap.
No, I really agree with everything you're saying there. So I had a couple first I went to see an Adobe, right? And the sound in Dolby and the shaking of the chairs and when feeling the twister, that was very cool. It kind of really made the experience. I can imagine one of those 4D experiences where you're feeling wind or feeling water or something like that. I think all that would be really, really cool if you did that. A fun time, as an audience experiencing a movie, you enjoyed experiencing it. It wasn't about the writing or any of the other stuff or the story, but you just enjoyed, like, you're an extra character in the movie. So that really kind of lends it to me being a now. I think this movie is definitely something that you can drop right now, enjoy this movie now, and then go into, the next, go to Deadpool and Wolverine afterwards. So this is a movie that came at the right time, even though it's going to probably get killed this week. I'm glad it made all this money last week. So that's me. What about you, Tank? You got anything?
I'm gonna give it a now. It was just a lot of fun. From beginning to end, it was just a fun disaster movie. That took itself serious enough. And I think it had good messages where, when it push come to shove, it's like, oh, we have to help the people that this affected. I love seeing that on screen. So, but between the action and the goofiness of it wasn't too corny or anything like that. It was just a fun time at the theater. A lot more fun than I expected, because I was expecting another kind of lame, like, natural disaster kind of movie, and I got something that was actually, like, pretty cool, pretty entertaining. So definitely now. So I got the Rotten Tomatoes. So we'll start off with the tomato meter. Only 289 critics reviewed this one. It's only at a 77.
Okay.
With the critics, with the tomato meter, but the audience, 2,500 verified plus verified ratings at a 92%. 92% with the audience. So the audience is really, really liking this one. So that's pretty high. That's a lot higher than I expected. The box office, it just absolutely crushed it. Total worldwide, almost 125 million, which is crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And like we said, third highest opening weekend movie, which just, it blows out the predictions. I think predictions was like 40 million, and that was like a high end number, and it doubled that. It doubled that. So yeah, I don't know if it was just a thing between a good movie, a fun movie, or is Glen Powell kind of becoming a household name a little bit more, where they're willing to give him a shot. Because everything he's been in, especially recently, has been pretty awesome. So is he becoming the next kind of big guy? I don't know if it's true or not, but I was reading that
they cut that kiss.
The kiss scene. There's supposed to be a kiss scene at the end, and the whole time I'm waiting, I'm like, okay, they're gonna do the kiss and blah blah blah, and there wasn't. And supposedly that was a bit of advice from Steven Spielberg. With it, because he was an executive producer on this one. Imagine that's the only thing he did on this movie, and he got an EP credit for. He's like, don't make him kiss later. But I think that was the right call. I think we got enough of the mushy, will they, won't they, kind of, they like each other kind of thing. And right as they're about to kiss, like, the thing that they are in love with more, a new Twister popping up, kind of gets it. So I enjoyed that. I thought that was kind of the better call, to make it as a better movie. But we want to hear from you guys. Leave your comment down below. Let us know what you thought about Twisters. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is he somewhere in between? Where would you rate it? Now, later, never on our scale. But we appreciate all you guys coming in, hanging out with us on the replay. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come and join us every Monday and Thursdays. We are live. And if you are live in the chat with us, stick around, because we're going to get into all of your comments right now.